Thank you. I'll call the meeting to order. We have staff on join us at the table. It might take you as long to join us as the meeting might take, but while you're doing that, we have apologies from the Mayor, so I'll move that the apology be accepted. That's in favour?
Aye.
Yes, carried. I move the confirmation of the agenda. Second for that. Thank you, Kate. Those in favour? Aye. Against, carried. Your usual reminder with regard to declaration of interest. And we move to the financial result. And Grant, I'll just ask you if you've got a few comments you want to make.
Yes, thank you, Richard. So this is the first month that we've included a monthly budget for both cash flows and balance sheets. So it's a positive step and should make the report more meaningful longer term. So the year to date we've got a deficit of 5.325 million, and this is $2.3 million better than budget. The main reason for this is due to the Waipori Fund, which is just under $1.9 million favourable. In addition to that, we've got some savings in expenditure, mainly to timing and savings there, but it's been partially offset by a drop in income, which is mainly to do with grants by the TA. Cash flow, or operating cash flow is ahead of budget, it's still an outflow, which is normal for this time of year. And capital expenditure is also down on budget by about $3.5 million for the first 2 months. And I'll take any questions.
Questions?
A couple of questions. The first is in relation to that NZTA expenditure. Are they getting frustrated with us? Because I know that they're, in particular the South Dunedin network stuff, they were quite keen to see done reasonably properly, given that we'd already deferred it significantly. Are we getting noises from them that they would like us to speed up, and is speed up imminent?
Sorry, I can't comment, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have a direct relationship with the NZTA to comment whether they're frustrated with us or not.
And no, Tony.
They're probably walking or biking and taking longer to get them.
Second question, it's minor, but just in relation to energy costs, I note that they're unfavourable over the period. Do we have some way of actively monitoring those and establishing why things are suddenly unfavourable if they do go significantly in one direction?
Your biggest change for energy cost, surprisingly enough, is usage, and a lot of that's determined. Nothing we can do is do with the weather patterns. So that's the biggest change. Or if we bring a new facility on. So when we bring a new facility on, you've got the unknown factor and how much that is going to drive or reduce your energy costs.
So do we have any idea as to why it is $135,000 unfavourable over the period?
I don't at this stage, but we can get some information.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I flag it is because I know that the complexity of our current billing system for energy is being simplified by corporate policy, which is great, and maybe that will lead to a bit more transparency around it, but there may well be appliances on left, right and centre all over the place that we are currently draining energy, as you say, using energy which we don't need to be using.
Yeah, but you're talking about a different thing. You're talking about what's causing it, which is the usage, versus how can you save, which is a heart and minds thing that you want everyone to turn their computer off, their photocopier off and everything else.
I think I'm talking about both. I guess the concern that I have is that unless you've got someone monitoring your average or whatever, and you have a spike, which I assume translates through to the bill, and that's why we're seeing it in the way that we are, then you wouldn't have any idea what it is that's necessarily causing that, whether that is particularly, or multiple particularly expensive appliances being left on more regularly, or whether it is simply greater usage driven by demand for that.
But I guess the issue you've got there is that if it has been built into their budget, they've always left that expensive appliance on. You're not going to see any change unless you then have a change in mindset in the organisation that actually, hold on, energy is an area where you can make some significant savings.
I think we're saying the same thing. Thank you.
I just wondered too, whether when you're 2 months into a financial year, variable costs, the margin of error becomes really high, and if you have a look at the last year-to-date actual for energy, it's on page 4.5. It's actually less than last year in the same period, so the variation.
It may well be variation, and that's, and Councillor Wilson made the point, and she may be right, is that it's averaged, and that if we go through a winter period, then we may see unfavourable in the first couple of months, and so I'm not sure how it's, yeah.
It should be seasonally adjusted.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Van Vliet.
On page 4.9, attachment 6, the second line down, BIS, CapEx has a very large variance on what was budgeted. And I'm wondering if you could tell us what that is. I'm always a wee bit worried by BIS variances.
So there's a number of projects that BIS have been delayed, particularly around the hardware, refreshing the hardware, the network of the system of the council. And they're currently looking at some options there, whether that should be maintained internally or possibly outsourced.
So the capital expenditure that was budgeted for was for quite an amount of hardware, which they may or may not need depending on the strategy.
Yes, but you might find that some of it has to be used as operating expenditure as opposed to capital.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You have to give the recommendation. Do I have a second? Seconded Councillor Staines. Is there any discussion? There being none, I shall put the recommendation. Those in favour? Against? Carried. And any notification of items?
This one, which we wrote down during the workshop the other day, and that's just in relation to the letter of expectation that we send to DCHL every year, and asking whether that could be done by way of council resolution and or council input into what is written in that letter of expectation.
So I think we need to have a think through a methodology.
That's right.
And I'm happy to take that to the next meeting and see where we go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we have a meeting closed.